Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. It's Saturday, and there's no storms today, which means my internet is functioning, which means we can have a Star Trek stream.
Yay.
And today, we are going to be talking about generations. So we're leaving the original cast behind, well, and sort of, because some of them still star, or well, not have starring roles, but have roles in this movie, and we're starting with the Next Generation cast. So this movie is about a place called the Nexus, and the big bad villain in this movie is Dr. Soren, who is trying to use this Nexus and this energy ribbon.
Played by Roddy McDowell.
Yep,
The man.
the
Not Roddy
man,
McDowell. You mean
Malcolm
Malcolm
McDowell.
McDowell.
Malcolm, I'm sorry.
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Roddy played Cornelius in the Planet of the Apes movie.
Right.
oh, hello, Original Shroom. Hello to Functional. Hello to Costin. Hello to everybody trickling in. This movie, I might be in the. Well, I'm actually pretty sure I'm in the minority in the panel here, at least, because I like this movie. Like, out of the four Next Generation movies, this is not my favorite, but it is up there. I'd have to say, if I were to rank my favorite Next Generation movies, it would be First Contact, Next Gen, Insurrection, or First Contact, Generations, Insurrection, Nemesis.
Yeah, I'd probably go along with that, actually.
So this is my second favorite Next Generation movie.
It's not because it's good, it's because the other two are awful.
Just, you're not
You're
wrong.
you're being generous, sir.
Yeah, probably.
You've got, I'm sorry, but Worf singing Gilbert and Sullivan. Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there in 2 weeks.
That was a high point.
Yeah. So this movie is basically trying to stop Dr. Soren from co-opting this energy ribbon to make it. He wanted to make a weapon, I believe it was, and he was actually one of Guinan's people, if I remember correctly. He was one of Guinan's ancestors or people.
Yeah. A listener.
Yeah, a listener. And so this movie basically is the send-off of the original cast and the welcome of the Next Generation cast to the movies.
Only he's not a good listener.
Just the handoff.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Gunfox, for the donation.
Yeah, yummy.
Let me jump over to Streamlabs to see what it says. But yeah, thank you for the very generous donation, dude.
Step on my good listener joke.
So this movie basically is the journey to the Nexus, and the battle of the galloping captains, as Prospero calls them, Kirk and Picard. Let's see. Come on, read me the fucking message. It would be really nice.
I just want to know I got one question. All right, so how come the platform that the thing that Malcolm McDowell's character has created, why is it rusted? I mean,
Gunfox
seriously.
says, meh, Star Trek, Wrath of Khan was the best.
Why does it have OSHA safety chains on it?
Exactly. What was the chains and fucking who made it? Right?
That's too funny. I didn't know that.
Oh, dude.
That you can
low
see
rent,
the...
low fucking rent shit there, man. Just saying.
That's funny.
I don't know if that was intentional or not.
We don't want them to fall off. What the fuck?
So this movie starts with Admiral Kirk. He's Admiral again. he's become an Admiral again. And Scotty, which this kind of bugs me continuity wise. Right? And you guys might figure out why in a second. So Scotty's there with Kirk, right?
Yes.
And they're on this ship and they're on the send off of freaking Enterprise B, right? It is
Yep.
B. I'm correct on that?
Mhm.
And they get sucked into the Nexus, right? But in season 6 of TNG, Scotty was on the Janolan and hid himself in a transport buffer for 80 years.
That's right.
So what the fuck? Those two the generations was what, 93 or 94, I believe.
Yes.
Season 6 of TNG, 93.
And on top of that, wasn't the Bozeman? Wasn't that the starship that was captained by Kelsey Grammer?
Yes, it was.
That was locked in a
That
bubble.
was locked in the Tychon's Rift or whatever it was.
Yeah, and, I thought that sounded familiar. I'm like, why the fuck? They specifically mentioned that, so I guess they're trying to tie that bubble into like it's like an eddy or something that's in the
Maybe.
wake of the ribbon or some shit.
But that always bugged me since that relic episode of TNG. When I watch
Could it have been before or after? Could it have been before the 80 years or after the 80 years?
but I don't think so, because I don't think the Enterprise B ever showed up, did it?
Well, that episode, Relics, he was in a transporter buffer for 80 years. Could what happened with the Enterprise B happen before that 80 years, or could it have happened after that
But
80
if
years?
it happened before the 80 years, how did he get back?
Well, Scotty, Kirk was the one who went in the Nexus. Scotty never did.
Right, but what happened to the Enterprise B? Didn't it disappear?
That was never, no.
So Kirk just somehow magically got pulled off the ship into the Nexus.
Kirk wasn't in Relics.
No, but he was in Generations with Scotty.
Right.
So,
but you were trying to contrast what was happening with Scotty and the 80 years. Not anything to do with Kirk, just Scotty.
No,
so
but how would Scotty have, because we don't know, do we know what happened to the Enterprise B on that voyage where we lost Kirk?
It was damaged, but that was it, because
Okay.
everybody else in that ship shows up as being okay.
Okay, so that is why that works then. Because because I always, the way that I watched that, when I watched the movie,
the ship itself never gets into the Nexus. The ribbon of the Nexus damages the ship, but they never pulls the ship in. It just grabs Kirk, because where it got hit is where Kirk was.
Okay, I understand now. Because the way that the ship, or the way that the movie is flowing, I don't know if there's any dialogue that states that. Like, I think
if you close your eyes, I don't think there was any way you would know that, because it's all visual. It's all action at that point. So there's no way to really tell by what they're saying, or even the music, exactly what's going on.
Yeah, so that would be probably why I thought the Enterprise B was lost, because to me because I always thought the Enterprise B was lost because we have the Enterprise C in yesterday's Enterprise. So I thought, it was like, okay, Enterprise B got lost in the voyage where Kirk goes into the Nexus, and they made the Enterprise C, and that was at the Kittimer thing. Like, that's how I thought the timeline went. So that makes a bit more sense to me now as to how Scotty ended up on the Janolan. That makes much more sense to me now.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and do some research here while we're talking and see if I can find out anything about what happened to Enterprise B, because I think it just lived its life and then got decommissioned.
Right.
When the C came out.
Right.
But let me search here memory alpha. You guys just keep going. I'll just butt in when I
So we have that opening scene, which has Kirk being, pulled into this, what we don't know yet as the energy ribbon in the Nexus. And then we switch to one of the funnier scenes of the movie, which is Worf's promotion, and the introduction to Data deciding that maybe it's now is time to start using the emotion chip, because they promote Worf to lieutenant commander, and then accidentally, I can't remember if it's Riker or Picard, but instead of saying like retract the plank, they were like computer remove plank, and Worf just like plunges off the side of the ship. And of course,
here's the line about the Enterprise's succession. It says sometime between its launch in 2293 and 2344, the Enterprise B was succeeded by the Ambassador class U.S. Enterprise C from TNG's Yesterday's Enterprise. So they never actually give a disposition. They just say it was succeeded, which I would say probably means retired, decommissioned.
Wow, that's interesting. Hello, Scribbles. He says the Nexus is just a glorified holodeck. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Reality is just a glorified holodeck.
Yeah.
What's the obsession with like the 1800s with the fucking Nexus? I mean, just saying.
What's with the obsession with the 1800s with the entire Next Generation cast? Like,
that happens with Voyager too. Remember, Kate Mulgrew
like
goes back.
The Elizabethan to Victorian era. They're just obsessed with it.
It's a chance for the cast to play dress up. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's
and you never see them play serfs or anything unglamorous like that. Let's go be tradesmen.
Unless Q makes them play Robin Hood, in which case they're freaking...
I am not a merry man.
Yeah. Yes, you say.
Oh God. So then after the amusement of Worf falling in the water, Data basically throws Beverly overboard because he thinks it's...
Which is funny.
It was funny, but not in the way he was intending it to be.
It's funny to watch, but it wasn't so funny if you were actually her.
Yeah. And this starts Data and Geordi talking about him using the emotion chip, which he didn't want to use, and Geordi had to talk him down from destroying at the end of Descent.
Where did it come from? Because it's not the same one that you see.
I think they actually mention in the movie that they were working on it.
Oh, so they were creating it then.
I don't think they created it. I think that it was damaged when he shot Lore, but I don't think it was damaged beyond repair. When
they put it in Lore, it was flatter than a quarter and about the size of a nickel.
Okay.
When they show it in this episode, it looks like rice checks. It looks fat.
Okay. Well, Data's emotion chip didn't that come from Brothers?
Because Lore stole it. He killed some,
and you see it in that episode because the old man holds it between a pair of pliers and shows them.
Yeah.
And it's a very thin, flat disc with holes in it. It looks like a C-clamp.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And I kind of thought maybe that's what it actually was. But when you see it in the movie, it now looks like shredded wheat.
Right.
It's fat. It's round.
Exactly right. It does. It's improved. This is
even the ribbage.
This is the Mark II.
It looks like they took a shredded wheat and just dumped it in gray paint. Is what it looks like. Really, it does.
You're absolutely right. It's very descriptive, and it's right on the money. It does. But it's very much changed in appearance. That's one thing that I noticed. So
that's why I wonder if they used the original as a template, or it was damaged beyond use and when they shot lore, or if they created a new one from scratch. We never get told that. Also, before we move too far away, the whole deal with Worf on the ship, you'll notice that when he's climbing back up and Beverly falls and knocks him back in the water, you'll notice that and you may not know, but in the screen, if you watch, his knees are bloody.
Oh. Really?
And they never explain why that happened either.
Maybe it was maybe he fell wrong when the...
It's never explained. It's not on Memory Alpha. It's not anywhere. But if you watch the video, both knees are blood red.
There's no commentary on the Blu-ray or anything like that.
I never played it.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll go fire up the movie and I'll fast forward that part, and then we can just do a screenshot real quick so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I didn't notice that at all.
I think that's on my Q drive. I think that's where all my Star Trek stuff is.
So we have, and then we have, I think, honestly, the last mention of Picard's living relative. Well, no longer living, but the last mention of Picard's relatives ever in canon. I honestly think because he gets a message that his brother and his sister-in-law and his nephew have been killed in a fire. Yeah. And this is important.
Poor little Renee.
Yeah, because this is what will keep Picard wanting it to stay in the Nexus later. So this is an important scene because that's what draws Picard to the Nexus. His wish for family. But I honestly think that this is the last time we ever hear about Renee or Robert or his wife. You don't even hear about them in Picard, which is kind of weird to me, but whatever. So this is and well acted scene by Patrick Stewart, right? Because he didn't have a wife and children of his own, but he really took to Renee when he was visiting France in the episode Family in TNG.
I shared my screen for you, Blind.
Oh shit! Let me
also, Beverly Crusher did her own fall, by the way, for this. That wasn't a stand-in actor. She actually went overboard.
Where is Hammer's screen? Hammer's
did you notice?
Screen.
Did you other guys notice how dark that scene was, where he's talking about it, about losing everybody, losing his brother and his brother's son?
Yeah.
That it was lit very darkly. That part of the ship is never that dark in any of the episodes on TV. It's because they wanted to make it more somber. They specifically lit it dark on purpose.
So was that his ready room?
That was the observation lounge.
Oh, okay.
Where that took place.
Interesting. I always thought he was in his ready room when he.
It's either his quarters or the observation lounge. It's definitely not the ready room because there's no fish.
Oh, okay.
But there's a picture of Worf.
There are the bloody knees, and they are bloody. There's no doubt about it.
And those legs that are upside down that you see in that screenshot, that's actually Gates McFadden, yeah.
That's actually Gates McFadden.
Yeah.
Those are her real legs doing the real stunt herself.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's
TOS
excellent.
Says when Crusher fell, she fell on Worf as he was climbing up the side of the ship. Yeah.
She did. But if that's true, it takes time for blood to come out of the wound and stain the pants. And these pants are already stained, and she just clipped them just right in that screenshot. So there's no way
that
her fall caused the blood to be there.
I wonder if his first fall, I wonder if he went to do this stunt or something, and he fell wrong, and
maybe
smashed his knees off the side.
Maybe this isn't the first take of her falling overboard.
Right. Maybe not.
He could have jammed his knee going up the rungs when she fell on, the first 35 takes of this shot.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, it's a very moving scene. And there's so if there's anything that anyone else wants to talk about for now, for us to move on. I've been doing a lot of talking. Let's see if anyone else has anything they want to say about this, because I know some of you guys aren't as into this movie as I am.
Well, I watched it a couple times. Like I said, that's number 2 for me as well in the Next Generation series. So I don't have a bad bias against it, but yeah, we're at him looking through his photographs of his brother and his I guess it's his uncle, right? That's who he calls him. Robert's son.
Because Renee goes, I know who you are. You're my nephew.
Yeah. Oh no, a highwayman. I can't do Picard. But I don't remember what's the next scene after that. I don't remember.
I think it switches to.
We're going scene by scene, and we hadn't talked about it, but one of my kind of complaints about this movie is it has the start to the movie where it feels like the TOS cast is paraded out there.
Yeah.
And then the parade's over, and that's it.
Yes, the Nexus scene is the first scene in the movie, really.
Right. Yeah. Okay, we had a parade, and what was the purpose of that? I mean, I've seen them in plenty of other, movies and TV shows, and was that really necessary to occupy my time and get my expectations up, and hoping that was the beginning of some subplot that absolutely went nowhere, anywhere in the movie, and you bolted that on to take up time to put butts in seats to gather the oldsters, the old fools like me who want to see Scotty and Chekhov. And
Scotty wasn't supposed to be in it.
I know.
Nimoy said no.
But Admiral, is there something wrong?
My point is, it was gratuitous, and it didn't really have much to do with the rest of the movie.
No, it didn't. You're right.
The movie's kind of schizophrenic. It's like about 4 movies in one, in my opinion.
Yeah. It is a little bit.
So
there's a scene that I actually found on YouTube a few years back that's not in the regular edition. And apparently Dr. Soren kidnaps Geordi and is trying to fuck with his visor to.
They deleted it because it gave it an R rating.
Oh, it did.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, showing torture is an R rating almost immediately.
Oh wow. Okay. Even if because I didn't think that scene would have made it R. Like it was uncomfortable, but it wasn't I don't know if it was more visually uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was very, very visually uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very much so. Because they show him putting those things into his head.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
I know exactly the scene you're talking about, because when I watched the movie, I was like, wait a minute, they're missing that scene, because it made an impact when I first saw it in the theater. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Why is that in a Star Trek movie? And then when I played back on Blu-ray, it wasn't there. I was like, what happened to that? So I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Maybe it's exactly that. They were like, that shouldn't really go in a Star.
It's not on the Blu-ray. It's not on there anywhere.
Oh wow. So they scrubbed it.
Yeah. I'm sure you could probably find it on YouTube though.
Yeah. Poor Geordi. He always he's like the Ensign Ricky that never dies. He's like the poor Geordi.
He was the one that was taken over by the Romulans.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, using his visor. That seems to me like they should make that slightly less hackable. Just a thought.
It's like a holodeck trope, right?
Yeah.
Well, and Dr. Soren makes a good point. It's like at this point, why is he not wearing just prosthetics? Full prosthetic, because he would probably be able to put the technology that's in the visor, in to where he could do all the same stuff with it. No. I thought that was a good question, actually. But then it's like it wouldn't be Geordi without the visor, right? So
yeah.
It's
So
too
then we get to there's a ship that, and I can't remember the name of the ship that they encounter, but Data and Geordi end up over on that ship, and Data's emotion chip fucking just goes haywire.
Oh, that was the space station, right?
Oh, yes, that's the space station, not a ship. And that's how Geordi. I think that's actually where that torture scene is cut, because I think it's Geordi is captured. Data
capture that, yeah.
doesn't stop him because his emotion chip, like, he's basically paralyzed with fear. And then I think that there's the torture scene, either just after that or shortly after that.
Yeah, they find Soren on the space station.
Yeah. And
then the bird of prey shows up.
Yeah.
The Duras sisters.
The Duras sister, of course. Of course. See, and I never understood, like, that felt kind of like they didn't need to be there. Honestly, the Duras sister, like, I didn't understand why they were in the movie, honestly. Like, why Soren was bad enough on his own. Like, it kind of felt like they were just kind of put in there to go, look, see, this is TNG. The Duras sisters are here. Like, that's kind of how.
I think you hit it on the head right there.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. I think.
Yeah, the two of my favorite Klingons to hate.
Oh yeah, but it's like
I kind of like B'Etor. She's hot.
Yeah, they're great. Hot. They're great to hate, but I mean, I want them to have a reason to be there.
You go for that interspecies kind of.
Alexander's mom.
I liked her outfit. She's if you've seen her without her makeup, she's actually a very pretty lady.
Yeah,
and I like that outfit. I liked what it did for her.
I think Lursa, the actress that played her, passed away a couple years ago.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah, cancer.
That's unfortunate.
I can't remember which one, but I looked them up when I was watching it last week. And yeah, the Duras sisters.
I would have upgraded Geordi's visor to shoot phasers and torpedoes.
Yeah,
that's a great thing. I mean, Jesus, you talk about a targeting system.
Obviously, it's working with light, right? That's what phasers are.
Yeah.
Sure. How hard could it be?
You know, I know this is tangential to like the movie, but why did they never fix that that system that they had in the first season of TNG, where they were watching what Geordi saw on the screen? That was so cool. They could have used that so many times. They just used it once. It was like, oh.
Just for that episode.
Just for that episode.
Yeah, he seems like the Predator.
Yeah, that was really that they should have used that. Especially like Soren could have used that. Like he could have tapped. Oh, anyway, missed opportunities.
Wait, they do use his visor. They use his visor instead of that contraption, so they can find out what the ship's shields are.
Yeah.
So they do something in reverse. The Duras sisters kind of do the same thing, but in reverse. They use his visor instead of.
Yeah, but I really just feel like the Duras sisters didn't need to be there. Like I feel like Soren could have carried the badness on his own. I just feel
he would have to have his own ship and his own crew.
No, that's true.
As long as you got to have somebody.
And you'd have to have a cloaking device.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have a Klingon or a Romulan ship.
Yeah.
Unless Steve's got his own homemade cloaking. I mean, it could be done. I don't know which one would be better. Because with the Klingons, you automatically get a cloaking device. So that solves the problem. But the Enterprise did have a problem with a stealth ship at one point. What was that episode all about? They were collecting there was a stealth ship that was collecting Vulcan archival things that the Enterprise had a hard time finding because it was a stealth ship.
Oh, Gambit.
One with Gambit, right? Gambit 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That was a stealth ship too. It wasn't invisible to the eye, but
it would
couldn't catch it on sensors.
Did something funky with its warp trail
that could have worked,
or something like that.
Yeah, that ship could have worked.
Something like that, yeah. But, I really like Guinan's role in this movie because you don't usually. I think this is the only movie you really see Guinan in, or you see Whoopi Goldberg in, because I don't think she's in First Contact.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now because I'm playing the movie while we're talking and kind of fast forwarding back and forth, and she's in this pretty well because she does the whole bartender thing with giving Data something that he finds disgusting to drink.
This is awful.
More,
please.
Yes, please.
Oh, it's how the reaction is the best part.
Oh my God, Brent Spiner must have had so much fun doing because finally he gets to be emotional, and because it's new, he has to basically overdo everything. So he probably had a lot of fun.
I bet he did.
I'm watching it as we're talking. It's so funny to watch him tilt his head and move his shoulders back and forth, because he just really hates it so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
more, please.
this
Yes.
is disgusting.
Yeah. It is revolting. Yeah.
Revolting. That's the word. I had the sound turned down so I can hear you.
And he, or the where he's on the space station with Geordi, and he's just starts laughing because of a joke that Geordi told at Farpoint. And then he, he's like, "Make it so." He's just.
He laughs maniacally, but what you weren't privy to is that the look on his face is a look of "Please help me."
Yeah.
He's laughing. But the look in his eyes is there's a crazed look in his eyes, like I can't stop this.
Yeah. This is running away with me.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's laughing, but it's scary.
He even says because Geordi's like, "Okay, Data." He's like, I cannot stop. He's just like And then the almost when Geordi is kidnapped, the almost childlike fear that Data has, where he's like, "Please don't hurt me."
Spiner is a great actor. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh,
his whole thing in the episode Masks.
Oh God, I was just about to bring that up. It reminded me of Masks with the little boy personality where he's grabbing Picard and
and he did Ehawk and he did what was it?
I couldn't
see anything.
The Masaka's father.
Yeah.
Ehot, and then Masaka herself.
Yeah, that was real tour de force in acting there.
Oh God, yeah.
I loved him before he was Data. Remember when he was the judge, Night Court? Oh man, I love that show.
Night Court.
He was a great character.
Yeah, he really truly can act.
Your Honor.
There's a YouTube video that the name of the video is "The Part That Made Brent Spiner Famous," and it's all the clips from that show.
Did y'all see him on Outsider? Or no, Outcast. That was the name of it. It was a Robert Kirkman thing that was on Stars for 2 years.
No.
Yeah, it's a comic series. It's really good, and it's about these people that are possessed with this black shit. And like Brent Spiner's the head bad guy.
Oh wow!
Oh, really?
Dude, he is fantastic in that. Yeah,
he's a great bad guy.
He is, man. And that I recommend that for anybody. because it's just like 20 episodes of just pure goodness. It pisses me off so much when something like that gets killed.
Yeah.
You know.
And then my favorite. So Picard, we get, Picard goes into we get to the planet, right?
The whole deal with Data taking the drink is also where Soren talks to Picard and uses that line, "Time is the fire in which we burn."
Yeah.
That was a powerful point in the movie.
Oh yeah.
People forget there's some really good parts in this movie.
It is a good line.
There are great lines in this movie. It's like Irate said, it's kind of a schizophrenic movie. It's all over the place. There are some parts of it where you're like, okay. And then there are other parts where you're like, wow, that was awesome. And we get, Picard, he goes to the Nexus and he meets Kirk. And we have this wonderful switch between Picard and Kirk, and then Riker in command of the Enterprise. And we also have one of the scenes that, honestly, if I'm having a really bad day, I YouTube. It's a 30-second scene, but it's funny as fuck. And it's Data or Worf or Riker and Worf are talking about, trying to find Picard, and no, I still haven't found him. And then Riker turns to Data and he's, Data, can you find a way to scan for life forms through the planet's ionosphere? I would be happy to, sir. I just love looking for life forms. Just life forms. It makes me laugh every time I watch it. It's just I don't know why, but maybe it's just the sound effects of the console along with him.
Yeah.
It just makes me laugh. But then we get the really powerful meeting between Picard and Kirk, and Kirk, like, basically Picard having to tell Kirk that he's living in fantasy. And Kirk's basically figured out that he's been living the same day. That's what it seems like. He's been living the same day over and over and over again. And he realizes it's the day that he tells his wife that he's going back to Starfleet. Which is a, bittersweet thing for him. And, we have Picard trying to convince Kirk to come and help him, do one last hurrah. And then we have, I just love the switch offs between this meeting of the two great captains and the poignancy between it. And then the incredibly quintessentially Star Trek action in space with Riker in command of the Enterprise. Basically deciding he's got to separate the ship, basically, and they end up crashing the ship. And of course, another scene from, Data. Oh shit! Just as they're crashing to the planet. It's just I like this movie. It's a fun movie. I think that's why I like it. It's not, the best Star Trek movie, but it's a fun movie. Right? It's fun enough to keep you involved. It keeps you engaged for the most part. And it's got its really poignant moments, like Picard, sitting in the Nexus, sitting at back at home, with kids, and he's so happy, and he has to tell himself, he's like, this isn't real. This isn't real, and I have to keep going. I can't stay here. And that was just really. There's a lot of good balance to this movie, I think.
When the sausage section crashes, who's at the helm?
Deanna.
Think it's Deanna, yeah.
And then
the woman's driving the car.
And then in Nemesis, when they crash the Enterprise into the Romulan ship, who's at the helm?
So here's the thing.
Troy.
You should never leave Riker in command and put Deanna at the helm. That's what should never happen again.
Every time the Enterprise gets into an accident, it's always because she's at the helm.
No shit.
Women drivers.
Really?
Well, and did you see how petulant she was when she kept failing her commander test? Like
we need to let Honey Badger Radio know about this.
Yeah, right. Get Karen in here. Karen Strong on the case. That's pretty funny,
dude.
And then we get Kirk and Picard to they end up defeating Big Bad Soren. And we get to the part of the movie that I actually didn't know about until Pincalo told me a couple weeks back. And he was actually really shocked that nobody that had watched the movie with me before told me about it. So when Kirk dies... And Picard beams up.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that he just left Kirk there. Until, 2 weeks ago.
He buries him.
Yeah, nobody told me he buried him.
Oh.
Nobody told me,
He didn't just leave him, laying on the ground.
No, but that's a silent scene. That's a silent scene. There's no cues, no words.
I thought that Picard, took Kirk's body and back with him for beam out, and they maybe did a space burial off screen somewhere.
I think I mentioned before that William Shatner wrote a book about how
he did, yeah.
He was revived by the Borg on that planet from inside his little stone burial plot. So yeah.
But Pincalo says that really bothers him, that scene, because he's it's almost like a slap in the face to Kirk that...
Where should Kirk be interred? Is there back on Earth?
Either back on Earth or maybe a space burial, like a normal Starfleet death or Starfleet funeral.
But shoot him into the sun.
Probably back on Earth, especially if he's I found Admiral Kirk's body.
Stick some C4 up his ass, kick him out of the airlock, and blow it.
They could have come back for him later. I mean, the burial could have been
Send me everywhere.
The burial that Picard did could have just been, to keep animals off of him, kind of deal.
Yeah.
So they could have come back later. We never see it.
But yeah, I had no idea that was a thing that, I didn't know Picard buried him. I honestly thought that he died, and then he was taken with Picard when Picard beamed out. And 2 weeks ago, Pincalo was like, no, he's buried.
No, it's just the two of them, and one of them's dead. So there's not a lot of conversation.
Yeah.
My question is, how did he get him all the way to the top of that mountain?
He picked him up and just walked up the mountain with him. It's not a big deal. Just pick up a dead body sometime and go mountain climbing with him. It's easy, Hammer. Easy peasy.
He's got a mechanical heart. It's not like he's got strain to worry about on his heart. He's fine.
It was so easy for Kirk to get into Nexus, but Soren has to kill stars to get in.
Yeah.
Do you think that I think the Nexus was a metaphor for heaven, honestly. I think.
Yeah. I thought it was a metaphor for heroin.
Yeah, I thought it was drug abuse. That's exactly what I thought it was, drug abuse.
I think it's more
I thought it was just the opposite. I thought it was hell, not heaven.
Well, that's what drug abuse is.
I think that a lot of people mistake heaven for hell. I think that a lot of people
they mistake hell for heaven. Hell always looks like heaven when you're going in the front door.
Well, but if you
It's like
think
socialism.
about it, if you think about it,
Indeed.
you think about heaven, and all of the archetypal descriptions of heaven
Right. No,
sound
you're not wrong.
very awfully
Yeah,
boring.
I see exactly what you're
after
saying.
a while. Like
What could be boring about sitting at the feet of a giant robed man singing the same hymns over and over for eternity?
Mm.
What could be better than that?
Everything.
Bowling, constant bowling.
Well, the same thing for the Muslims. You get what 72 versions.
Yeah.
After a while, don't you kind of want to pro?
Yeah, no, they didn't tell you the virgins were sheep.
Sex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
After a while, you kind of want. Where's the person who has some knowledge about this? Because all these girls, I'm trying to teach what's going on. After a while, you want a pro.
Yeah.
Is there
It's like
anyone
human
in
versions.
this place that knows how? Never mind.
My big question about all this is,
fair.
after the saucer section has crashed, we never find out what happens to the fish. Did the fish survive?
I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know if
Spot
Picard's
survived.
fish. Oh yeah, Spot survived, but we never know if Picard's
That
never show.
scene made me so teary-eyed.
Oh yeah.
I am very happy to see you, Spot.
Yeah.
That was the best way to end that. Oh my god. And that was the way they ended the movie. And honestly, I'm okay with that.
It's like, might as well stop here.
I'm okay with that. Data found his cat.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah. A boy gets some pussy.
There was a scene after that where they were digging for Picard's photo album, and then they beam up and take off on what looked like the Pegasus.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much next to the last scene.
Functional says it was an allegory. The Nexus was an allegory for paradise.
For paradise.
Yeah.
What's it, heaven?
One man's paradise is another man's hell.
Yeah.
Imagine being in an area where everything you want is available to you anytime you want. After a while, you're like, there's no challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
You turn into Q.
You do.
You have your own little Q. Yeah.
You've done everything. You've been the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
We've all been the Scarecrow.
I think Soren should have sealed himself in a photon torpedo casing and shot himself into the Nexus. That would have solved the problem.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know if I'd want to be in the Nexus. It's all fake.
Yeah.
Sure, you live forever, but it's not real.
But there's no water on that planet. How did the rust? Where did the rust come from? I'm still stuck on that damn bridge.
Oxygen?
Maybe it rains every once in a while, every blue moon.
Yeah, there were plants on it.
There
was some
right.
vegetation on it, so there's water. There's water coming from somewhere somehow.
They film all that shit where in Utah or somewhere.
Yeah, it looked like Utah or northern Arizona or something.
Doggo.
Oh, dogs! I'm sorry about that.
No, it's cool.
All right.
Hey, Doggo.
So, does anyone have any final comments about Generations?
As we've hashed through it, I find that I liked the movie more than I thought I remembered I liked it.
Yeah.
We brought out enough good points in it that I keep going, oh yeah, I did like that. Oh yeah, I did like that. Oh yeah, I did like that. And there were a lot of moments like that. My real chief objection to it was the bolted on beginning, quite honestly.
Yeah.
It does.
The Nexus effect, the graphics were really good too. ILM did the graphics in this movie.
Indeed.
And it shows.
Yeah, definitely really nice.
I liked the sound engineering in this movie too, because when they were crashing onto the planet, when the saucer section, you can hear Riker's voice shake, and I don't just mean shake with
fear.
I mean he's vibrating.
He's all right. We don't need to hear about your sexual fantasies, all right?
But he's his voice is vibrating as if it would if you were under extreme speeds and pressure.
Right.
I wonder if they did a Galaxy Quest thing where they actually bounced the seat that he was sitting in.
Oh, maybe.
Because it didn't look like a camera shake effect. from the movie. It looked like he actually was bouncing around.
Huh.
So
it's good realism.
Yeah, good acting, I guess.
So, we've come to the end of Generations, and that brings us to our next movie, which is my favorite of the four Next Generation movies, First Contact.
Oh, yeah.
It is my second favorite of all the movies.
Oh, yeah?
Mine too.
Yeah.
I really like this movie.
One?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I like this movie.
Yeah, First Contact we're going to have lots to talk about, and I can't wait to rewatch it.
It's a good movie.
Going to do this next weekend?
We are going to do this next weekend.
Hi.
Excellent.
Hi.
And tomorrow night, the Blind and the Special will be happening. I think Pincolo and I are going to be doing it together. He does have a delivery. He has to leave on Monday afternoon, but I don't think he has to be up early. So I think we'll be in tandem tomorrow night. Irate, who are you talking to tomorrow?
All right, tomorrow I got the right-wing BDSM guy. I got to make the thumb for that. And tonight we're going to be going over how social justice silences.
Oh, and that's on the Accelerated Deconstruction show, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Awesome.
And what time is that?
Tonight, that's 8 p.m. Central.
At 8 p.m. and it goes for 2 hours?
Yeah, sometimes. I almost went 3.
Kind of open-ended?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those. And if you want to join, we have a spot where we let people on too.
I'm going to be streaming with Harry later. So,
are you doing Minions tonight then, Skep, with Harry?
I am doing Minions tonight.
Right. And the coffee stream will be starting up in probably 2 weeks. The school start date has been pushed back till the 15th for Mr. Alex. So
are you going to do every day?
I will be doing every other day. And so just like I was before COVID started, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I'll be keeping Friday open for guest day. So, yeah. Thank you everybody for watching, and come back next Saturday for First Contact. And also thank you Gunfox for the donation. Have an awesome Saturday everybody, and thank you for watching.
Thanks, chat.
Bye everybody.